As many of you know, my roots come from the entertainment world before I got into this whole broadcasting political analysis thing. Andrew Breitbart dragged me out of that world and put me in this one. But I do always like to check in with my old friends in movies, theater, television, acting. And I'm so excited because one of the finest actors of our generation, really of any generation, is joining us now. And he's got a brand new movie out. Take a look at the trailer. It's released in January. Take a look. Watch. It's great.
I want you to understand how good a woman your mama was. She took Colton Briggs, the coldest killer that I've ever met, and she turned him into a family man.
My mama's dead now.
That looks really good. It looks great. Let's bring him in, the star of that movie. Nick Cage joins us now. Oh, it's Nick Searcy. Oh,
yes, different Nick.
You guys got the wrong Nick. Well, Nick Searcy is pretty good too. Hey, Nick, thanks for joining us. That movie looks great.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of fun, and it's funny. I hadn't done a Western in my whole career, and then I did two in 1 year, both of them in the same town in Montana. They shot the old way. That Terror on the Prairie was shot in the same town.
That's right. And Terror on the Prairie was produced by our pals over at Daily Wire. And that was actually fantastic. And that's sort of what I want to talk to you about. Not only this movie coming out, but also this movement within Hollywood where there are a lot of actors and directors and writers who just can't get work because of the politics of that town. And you've been spearheading this movement of sort of creating your own new sort of paradigm. You can build your own studio if you want to. And tell me how that's going, because Daily Wire seems to be jumping up and doing it.
Yeah, and there are other venues that are doing this, and we need more of them, obviously. But I sort of I took this on about probably around 2014 is when I started thinking, okay, I need to start making my own stuff, because they're not gonna like what I have to say politically, and I'm gonna pay a price for that. So I've been sort of working on that since 2014. I've made two films, God Shed His Grace on Thee, and then Capital Punishment last year, about January 6th. And I'm working on a feature that a company is backing for me, and we're in the business of producing our own content.
And that's what you have to do. And by the way, you're getting the eyeballs on it, and people are clicking and people are watching. And that's what the whole new streaming entertainment world that we live in is all about. So I love it. And I can't wait to see this movie. Let's talk. Listen, I wanted to touch base with you because of what we saw Friday with the revelations about Twitter. You're a very active and outspoken person on Twitter. You have been suspended. James Woods was suspended. And now we're seeing a little bit behind the curtain about what happened there with people who are high profile people like yourself and James Woods, but also just any everyday American who wanted to speak their mind. I'd love for you to give us your impression on what Twitter was doing and whether Elon Musk is sort of walking in the right direction to sort of right the wrongs.
I think it is a positive step what Elon is doing by releasing the inner workings of Twitter. What James Woods said when he on the Tucker Carlson show the other night really struck me. But it was the section where he talked about how casting directors in Hollywood would check social media and find out if a person was following James Woods, not even looking at what they said, but even if they followed James Woods, they would then pay a price for that casting director. And it really resonated with me, because that's what's been happening to me. And that was the first time I'd heard somebody say it out loud. When it came out that I was in Washington on January 6th, and then I made a film about it, I had casting directors call my agent, or my agent called me in the middle of the night and said that casting directors were spreading around that I was inside the building and that I was a terrorist, all of which was a lie. But, once they say that, they don't ever check the news to find out if they were right or wrong. And so that lie has been spreading about me. And that's, it's made it more difficult for me to get work. Luckily, I'm rich and famous and it doesn't bother me. But
well, as I said, one of the greatest actors of any generation, Nick Searcy, absolutely. And by the way, if anybody wants to see the truth of not only what Nick Searcy was doing, but really the truth behind what happened on January 6th and how the FBI and the government under Joe Biden have been persecuting innocent people. You got to see that documentary, Capital Punishment. How do you think the things are developing right now in terms of the House Republicans actually having the opportunity to have their own January 6 hearings? Are you hopeful that they might do that, or are you concerned that they'll just ignore?
I'm hopeful that they will. I don't believe from their past track records that it's very likely that they will. But I would love to see them, come up and say, let's really find out what happened on January 6th. Let's interview people like John Sullivan, who was a BLM activist who was inside the Capitol inciting the violence, and in fact was in the room when Ashley Babbitt was killed. I mean, I would love to see them interview Ray Epps. I would love to see them interview the over 100 FBI operatives that were in that crowd and ask them what they were doing. I'm very skeptical that they're going to do that, but I would love to see it happen.
Wait, you don't trust that Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger and Adam Schiff and Jamie Raskin, they took care of that behind closed doors, and there's nothing to see there, Nick.
Right. I mean, as long as at least we're getting rid of Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger. We don't have to pretend that they're Republicans anymore because they're out. So the more people like that we can get out of the way, the better.
So when you say stuff like that, this is the stuff that Hollywood will freak out about, right? I mean, you have been able to transcend. You still do get work, much of it because you've created your own economy. But have you had the door slammed in your face because you refuse to march along with the mindset of Hollywood?
Well, that's the thing about Hollywood. They don't slam the door in your face. They just say, they surreptitiously do it. It's not like they're going to call me up and tell me they're not hiring me because of my politics. They just kind of go, they say like, we're going a different way, or,
right.
we have a stronger choice or whatever. So you can't really, in very few instances, can you actually say they canceled me because of my politics. They're too sneaky.
I'm always told that, Hollywood goes where the money goes, right? And if you make money for them, that's good enough. But it doesn't seem that way. We just talked to John Nolte, our mutual friend from Breitbart, in the old big Hollywood days. We just had him on a couple of days ago, and he said, no, look at the movies that are up for Oscar contention right now this year. The top grossing movie is like $2 million or something. They don't care about money. They care about message.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The way Hollywood works these days is that you don't get your next job by selling a lot of tickets. You get your next job by proving to the person next to you in the cubicle next to you at Disney or whatever that you're woke. And so these movies continue to be churned out because they make a deal because, hey, we're all on the same side here. See, I'm advancing the right agenda, and they're protected from being, slaves to the profit that they used to be.
Nick, can you promise us, though, what America wants, and that's Nick Searcy, James Woods buddy movie in 2023?
I would love to do that. I don't know if James Woods is interested in acting with me, but I'd certainly do it.
All right. We'll run it up the flagpole. We'll find out. In the meantime, The Old Way opens at Nick Searcy and, Nick Cage as well. What day does it open again?
It opens on January 6th. That's a new clause in all my contracts. When I'm in a movie, it has to open on January 6th.
All right. We'll be looking for it. Thank you, my friend. Thanks for joining us. More to come on O'Connor Tonight.